Hello everyone, in today's video I'll show you how to do this crochet balaclava, and as you can see it's mainly made out of the ribbing stitch, so it is quite stretchy, so it will fit most of the sizes. If you do like this video, please don't forget to hit subscribe and like this video, and yep, let's get into it. And to make this balaclava you will need 100 grams of any double knit yarn. I've got 100% acrylic here. Then you will need 4.5 millimeter hook, needle, stitch marker and scissors. To start off you want to make a slip knot, put your hook in and chain total of 51. Once you've got your chain of 51, you then want to skip the very first one here and go into the second one with single crochet. And you will crochet all across those chains, so make single crochet in every single chain, and this will leave you with 50 single crochets in total. So yeah, just repeat doing a single crochet in every single chain, and I'll meet you at the end. And when you finish your first row, at the end you want to chain one and turn your work. And for row 2, you want to go into the back loops only. So leave this one and go into the back one only. And for row 2 you will have 50 single crochets made in back loop only. So yeah, do that and I'll meet you at the end. At the end of round 2 you just want to chain one, turn your work, and this is how it will look. And now you want to repeat round 2 another 24 times, so you have 26 rows in total. And that's always going into the back loop only. So you will continue making those single crochets in every single stitch, back loop only, and repeat until you have 26 rows. So I'm gonna do that and I'll see you at the end. So yeah, this is how your work will look after you did those 26 rows. If you're struggling to count them, you can flip your work right side down, so this is your wrong side, and if you count those bumps here, each of them represents 2 rows basically, so you need to count 13 in total, which I have here. And then for the 27th row you want to continue as normal, and then you will do stitches along this side. So I'm gonna do my 27th row up till here, and then I'll meet you at this point. I just did 50 stitches into the back loop for my row 27, and then what you need to do next is into this corner here you want to place 2 single crochets. So that's an increase in this corner, and then this side has 26 rows. We used 1 stitch here, we left 25 rows, so above each row you will do 1 single crochet, so that's 25 single crochets all together after the increase. And this is in the back loops because it's our side of the rows, so just do normal single crochets. And for this row in total you will have 77 stitches. at the end, chain 1, and we will begin our row 28. So now our rows will have 77 stitches all along, and we will be working into back loops as always. So yeah, just continue doing single crochets in back loops, and I will meet you at the end of this row. I'm nearly now at the end of my row 28. Then you want to chain 1, turn your work, and you will repeat this row 28 until you reach total row count of 40. So continue making those 77 single crochets into back loop until your row count is 40 in total, and I'll see you then. I'm now at the end of those 40 rows. This is how it looks so far, and I already did my 50 stitches for row 41. So you should have finished here for your row 40, and then you want to do 50 back loop single crochets, and you will be here, which is just identical to our 50 stitches right there. Once you've got that done, then you want to do a decrease in the next 2 stitches. So pull up a loop in first, pull up a loop in second, yarn over, pull through all, and chain 1. We're gonna now turn our work, skip this decrease stitch. You don't want to make single crochet into that, so just skip it. If you want to, you can grab your stitch marker, so do your single crochet into the first single crochet, that is back loop only, and continue making those single crochets, which again you will have 50 from now on. So just continue till the end of your row, and I will meet you at the end here. I am now at the end of my row 42, just making those last 2 single crochets, chain 1, and from now on you will need to repeat that row 41 and 42 until you run out of stitches here, or until you reach 68 rows all together. So once again, this is row 43, but I'm just repeating row 41. So you will continue doing single crochets in the back loop, total of 50 times. So I'm just gonna do that, and I will meet you here where I've got my stitch marker. I am now at the end of my row 43. I have 2 single crochets to make. My last one is gonna be here where the stitch marker is, and I would recommend having the stitch marker on your 50th stitch because it can become confusing with the chains and decreases here. So there's quite a lot of things going on in here, so you don't want to make any extra stitches. But once you did your 50th single crochet, you want to decrease in the next 2 stitches. So pull up a loop in next one, pull up a loop in second one, pull through all 3 loops and make sure that it's quite secure, chain 1, turn your work, and that's your 44th row. So you want to start with the single crochet where the stitch marker is, skipping the decrease. So I'm just gonna take the stitch marker out. I'll do my single crochet into the back loop only, putting my stitch marker back in, and I will continue making single crochets into back loop only. So yeah, you want to repeat those rows. After you finish 44th one, you will then again go up with the 50 stitches, do a decrease, chain 1, turn your work, go down, chain 1, turn, and repeat until you eventually run out of this row of stitches. Yeah, and you will have 68 rows in total. So I'm gonna do that and I'll meet you at the end. Once you're done with your rounds, that will be 68 rounds in total. You can take your stitch marker out and you should have finished here at the bottom. Next, for the next 8 rounds, you want to single crochet 22 into the back loops only. So do 22 single crochets. And once you did 22 single crochets, chain 1, turn your work and do another row of back loop single crochets, so that when you finish 8 rows, you are at the row 76 in total, and then I'll meet you at the end. When you are done with your 8 rows, this is again 76 rows in total, you want to fold your work in half and have it right sides in so that wrong side is out. Align those 22 stitches with the panel you have and other side, and slip stitch across those 22 stitches. And you want to go into the back loops for the panel of 22 stitches only, and repeat this until you finish joining this side. Once you're done, you want to turn your work inside out so you have right side up. This is how it will look joined, and your hook will be here. And we will now start doing ribbing around the opening here. So chain 5 into the second chain, go with the single crochet and do total of 4 single crochets. Then when you reach this ending here of 4 single crochets, do a decrease. So pull up a loop in the next 2 spaces, pull through all of them, chain 1 and turn your work. Going into the back loops, do 4 single crochets, chain 1 and turn your work. After you chain 1, do again 4 single crochets into back loop only, and then you will again decrease into the panel. So pull up a loop in next space, then in next, pull through all 3 loops, chain 1, turn and do 4 single crochets in the back loops only. Chain 1, and you will be repeating those 2 rows, doing 4 single crochets, decrease, chain 1, turn, do 4 single crochets, chain 1, turn, and so on, all around the opening until you come back to this point. So I'm gonna do my ribbing, and you should have around 86 rows. If you have a bit different number, don't worry, as long as it's looking okay and not being too wide. Don't worry about the row count, but yeah, I'm gonna do those and I'll meet you at the end. And when you have finished all of the rows, this is how it should look like. So there's no more stitches left here. Don't worry if you have finished here at the bottom and not at the top. And when you're done, you just want to fold these right sides in and then slip stitch it all together along those 4 single crochets. And you can also try to go into the back loop only. So that's 1, 2, 3, and last one here. Chain 1 to secure, and you can cut your yarn off. And then all you left to do is just to hide the tail in. So yeah, this is how your balaclava should look like at the end. This is how it looks from the front. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to don't miss any future videos. And thank you so much for watching.